We're going to turn over the program now to Craig Osenberg and Kathy Cottingham and Sherry Briggs to kind of get us rolling into this panel symposium. So Craig, thanks for all the work. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Frank. All right, thank you, Frank. And good morning, everybody. We're looking forward to a really interesting and fun day today. The very first thing that I have to do today as a member of the organizing committee is confess that the organizing committee was not very organizational. The credit for this symposium and everything that's gone on really falls to Frank and Stephanie, Mark, Kristen, Ginger, and the entire staff at NCEAS. I mean, they have put this together. The success of this is entirely in their hands, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to reiterate the sort of two main goals that we have for today's symposium, and I think both Jane and Frank nicely illuminated those last night. First of all, one goal that we have is to look back, to ask, where synthesis has come in the last 15 years and the critical role that NCEAS played. And I think as all of us see that, that is really a celebration of what NCEAS has brought to our community and the sort of sense of pride that we all take in what NCEAS has accomplished and what it's done in terms of transforming our science. The second thing that we want to do is, in addition to celebrating what NCEAS has accomplished, is we want to look forward. And that looking forward has two components to it, right? One, as Frank and Mike both alluded to this morning, is to ask what the future is of NCEAS. And that's probably on all of our minds. I think everyone in this room appreciates what NCEAS has done for our discipline. And the question is, what lies ahead? And so part of today will be not only reflecting back on the accomplishments and celebrating what NCEAS has done for us, but also looking forward to seeing what lies in the future for synthesis and ecology, and how NCEAS can continue to contribute to that. But secondly, that looking forward also has a more general component, which is what does synthesis hold in terms of the future for ecology? What have we learned from what NCEAS has contributed, and how does that inform how we move forward, not only with NCEAS, but with other types of synthesis centers and activities that have similar missions as NCEAS has had? And I think all of us have taken lessons that we took away from our activities here to change the way we conduct our own research, the way in which we actually write and construct our grants and think about doing our science, change the way in which our institutions have functioned. And some of us have even put together proposals to create sort of an NCEAS-type model in other contexts. And in fact, NCEAS has facilitated many efforts throughout the world to create additional synthesis centers. So those are basically the two goals that we see for today. Part of my job today is to just tell you some of the ground rules. So now I have to look at my notes, which also means I need my glasses. Okay, so today, so first of all, we're trying to look back and look forward with one day, which certainly isn't enough to do what we need to do. And in lieu of having additional time to accomplish that, we're going to take a very sort of NCEAS-like approach here, which is we're going to ask for lots of discussion, hopefully heated debate amongst some of us, to sort of reflect and look forward. So, this is not just a passive process. This is supposed to be an NCEAS-type activity where the audience and the panelists all get engaged with sort of ongoing and open dialogue about the past and the future. So, as playing different roles, we're all going to take on slightly different strategies. So the moderators and the panelists today are going to basically get us started by providing us with some thoughtful sort of fodder for discussion at the beginning of each of the 5 sections that we've constructed today. And then as the audience members, which most of us are supposed to be chiming in with those little kernels of nuggets and thought with follow-on, other perspectives, discussion, disagreement about the sort of ideas that have been reflected on the part of the panelists. We are hopeful that everyone can make notes, write them down. We'll be actually taking those notes and collating them and making them available in some format so that the thoughts and the ideas that we have here won't be lost just when we all leave following this evening's reception. Now, some of you also know, if any of you have read the emails that have come out, and some of us don't, so I'm here to remind us a little bit. But for those of you that are not leaving early in the morning tomorrow and would like to engage and follow on discussions, little mini workshops, etc., there are opportunities to have small groups meet tomorrow morning before you take off. So if you would like to do that, please chat with one of us about how best to accomplish that, and space will be made available. Okay, there's one other issue which is has something to do with blogging, which I don't have a clue what that means. Because I'm feeling older and older as time goes by, Mark Schildhauer, who's much younger than I am, is going to come up and talk to you about blogging. So, and as Mark is walking up, I want to make a couple of other notes. First of all, the panels and the discussion with the audience are being recorded. That was an excellent response. So I just wanted to make sure we all knew that. So the other issue is, for the moderators and panelists, we need you to sort of stay within your sort of given time constraints. We want to make sure that there's plenty of time for open discussion with the audience. So for those of you that are part of the panels, please keep your comments within the time frame that we've discussed. Kathy and Sherry, because I did this morning thing, are really responsible for making sure the moderators also keep the panelists keeping on schedule. I'll just sit here and grade the two of you. So. Okay, for the audiences, each panel is going to be run slightly differently, so the moderator should lay out some of the specific ground rules for their panel. But we'd also like you as the audience member to give the panel a chance to sort of give their spiel, however it is they want to structure it, and then chime in when they sort of open the gates for you all to contribute. Please try to keep your comments brief and to the point. I don't know what good that did to say, but anyway. There also will be microphones for the audience. I'm not sure who's in charge of them. I'm looking back towards Kristen. She's in charge of them. So if you have something to say, I suppose raising your hand is the best approach, and someone will bring a microphone to you so that we can make sure that those questions and comments get picked up for the recording. And with that, I think we're ready to turn it over to the Blogmeister.
Hello, everybody. So, in acknowledgement of the multi-generational representation of scientists here, we've set up a blog. It's at TREES. TREES is the sexy acronym for this event. It stands for Trends in Ecological Analysis and Synthesis. I've thought about that acronym. You could probably add ON to the end, but you could also add URE to the end. So, anyways, trees.nceas.ucsb.edu. You all should have received an email about this site, which currently is password protected. So it's currently closed. And so you have to register to be able to both view the contents and to be able to submit replies. But the process is extremely easy to submit replies, and we'd really encourage you to capture your reflections perhaps now on pad, and then add those in later. The site is structured according to the 5 panel topics, so choose appropriately where you might want to put your comments. And if you want to suggest new topics for discussion, send them to the trees at nceas.ucsb.edu email address, where we'll hopefully quite efficiently add those to the list of topics that you see available on the site. So this site also, you can, for those of you who tweet, there is a hashtag. The hashtag is trees2012. So you can follow people within this room who might be twittering about the event. And I can tell you there are people external to this room who will be watching those tweets to get a feeling for the activities that are going on in this room. So we're hoping this all provides a real durable record of the real-time activities with the video and the audio capture. Some of these materials we do expect we might put them on the web, but I think as a group we'll be deciding, initially this will all be confidential to the extent of the gathering here. I wanted to point out So are there any questions about the site? It's actually a WordPress blog site. We hope it's certainly a very familiar format for a growing number of scientists. For instance, those of you who have been following some of the open access debates know that there's very, very lively discussion going on in the blogosphere on that topic. Are there any questions about that? I think that's it. Thank you.